over there. Okay.
So I gotta go over there.
Okay, folks, let's take our seats. We gotta get the study session started.
Okay, cool.
Councilor Majok.
I'm here.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Councilor Caldwell, for your addition there. I'd like to start this, thank you, Councilor Majok. I'd like to start this study session. I also like to commend Councilor Majok and Councilor Caldwell for taking over this study session, some of the duties of the president and myself while we were indisposed.
Welcome back, homie.
Oh, thank you, Councilor Majok. Okay, our first item is a public hearing. That was DPW.
That's going to be July 1st.
July 1st? Okay. Any excuse me, City Clerk?
Yeah, what?
We're all set?
I'm sorry, not what. Yes.
Petitions, we're okay? Committee reports, all that?
For, you talking about for resolutions? Or?
Yes,
Oh, no, we're not there yet.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
okay. Unfinished business, Councilor Williams held this, correct, local law? We had to table that last,
No,
or is it ready now?
is
Yeah,
it-
I'm for Councilor Williams. 9A is ready. Councilor Hogan.
Okay, thank you. Resolutions,
No
we
Monday.
know, we have no Commissioner Deeds. Councilor Caldwell?
Thank you, Pro Tem Hogan. Glad to see you back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Blessings to all today. Commissioner Williams. We have items 11 through 20. We can start off with item 11.
Good afternoon, councilors and President Pro Tem Hogan. Good to see you. Tony Williams, Parks Department. Starting with agenda item number 11. It's an agreement, it's an amendment to an agreement for Bergman and Associates. These are the architects that will be conducting our design concept for Progress Park located in the Inner Harbor. This request is not to exceed $220,000 and will be charged accordingly to the account listed on this agenda item. Again, this is for Progress Park, Parks Department, Trailside Recreation Project, and inclusive playground.
I think this is going to be amazing. I don't think does anybody have any questions about this?
Is that cost the actual design of the playground?
It's within that. No. This cost is just for the design, for the concept design.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The cost for the playground is coming up.
Yeah.
How does the design process for this space work, being that it's not technically like a neighborhood? Who is involved in that? Who's involved in the design process? Like, sometimes you get neighbors who say what they want, but this is not that type of.
Understood. For this particular project, it's got a very heavy inclusive component. And for the inclusive component, Parks Department reached out to many inclusive agencies within the area for their feedback. Deputy Admin from the Parks Department sat on many meetings with those agencies, and they kind of pulled in ideas on what they thought an inclusive playground should include. And from those meetings, we were able to create a design for a completely inclusive playground, one of the first in the Parks Department.
When we say inclusive, I just want to make sure that we're clear. It's accessible. It's
Accessible.
Yeah.
Very accessible.
But as far as like the finalization of it, who is it being put in front of is what I'm trying to get to.
Understood. For every project in the Parks Department, as you know, Counselor, there's going to be an engagement session.
Yeah.
With that session, we would probably reach out to the closest community group that's in the area for feedback, or...
People, remember we talked, and the young people.
What was that?
And the young people, remember we talked about that, yeah.
Absolutely.
And what about the Progress Park? Yeah.
I think it's important because this is the only inclusive park, that it's a wide
Wider
not
net.
just neighborhood specific to your point,
Yeah.
but for people in our community who have children or individuals who could benefit from this park. It'll be the only one, so to expand it beyond just the geographic area.
And this was part of the lakefront revitalization plan, too. There's a lot of output involved in that. We just had a meeting on that at 10 o'clock, so this has been...
Thank you.
It's also going into the, I mean, of the 8 TNT sectors, this is the sector with the lowest population, but I mean, it's growing. There are people obviously in Franklin Square, but there's not a lot of single-family houses in this, right, in the area. So I would assume what's going to happen is people who need the accessibility are going to actually bring their kids from all over the city
Exactly.
to use the park, which is kind of the point.
Absolutely. And Counselor, you caught me a little off guard because we're not quite there yet. So we haven't started engagement plans. Right now, we're just working on the design concept. But to your point, we'll make sure that we get the word out. So anybody who's interested can come to the engagement session.
And lucky for you, the 10 of us are pretty good at engagement.
Don't worry, we'll be looking towards you.
Other item, questions? Okay, number 12, please.
Number 12 is also in regards to the inclusive playground and trailside recreation stand. This is an allocation from the 24-25 capital plan for this project, not to exceed $1.5 million. On Schedule A, attached to this agenda item, you'll see that there's numerous projects within the Inner Harbor, but majority of this allocation will be going towards the trailside recreation project. Moving on to agenda item number 13. This agenda item is connected to agenda item number 12. Agenda item number 14 is the issuance of bonds from the 24 to 25 capital improvement plan for a splash pad. This particular splash pad will be located in Westmoreland Park. As you know, actually, you know what, Councilor Caldwell, I'll let you speak on that because I know you've been pushing this for a while.
I'm excited that this is going forward. The community over there needs it. This has been a long time coming. It's been some years, even way before Commissioner Williams got there, became on his position. So I'm excited for the young people to have a splash pad.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this one, yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for all of them, but, thank you for making this get there faster, yeah.
So the 250,000 will be just for Westmoreland, or will it include the other four that it's in Schedule A?
This will be just for Westmoreland.
Okay.
Commissioner, have you ever looked for any sponsors that would want to sponsor this, any of the parks? Put their corporate sponsors?
That is something that, with your support and the support from the counselors, we would love to look into.
Well, we did just do the splash pad in Washington Square Park. It's a combination of parks, and then TNT got a grant through the Rising Foundation. So that is happening for sure.
Good.
And we do get corporate sponsors, and I'm not going to say corporate sponsors, but foundations. I know when we were working on Westmoreland Park, way before I became a, make a legal, okay, Joe, here, go ahead.
So, I'm sorry, Commissioner, but I mean, the splash pads, it says specifically in legislation. As you just said, it's Westmoreland, but we got Skiddy and Grace Messina in there too.
There's four
And
more in
Union.
the
So-
schedule.
So it's
yeah.
all the, splash pads, I don't know how much they cost, but I imagine.
Well, commonly on these appendixes, we put additional projects just in case the project that receives the allocation for some reason can't go through. That way, we don't have an account allocated towards a project that we can't complete.
In that appendix. So currently, the schedule that you have here is what would be going in the legislation. And so if you do not want 2 through 5 to go in the legislation, let us know so we can get rid of this appendix. Because right now, as it is, it's going to be part of the legislation with those other parks.
Understood. And if I could, I'd like to send you those revisions.
Just with Westmoreland Park, this one is just for Westmoreland Park, right?
Agreed.
Okay. All right. So we can communicate it. All right.
Thank you.
Joe, do you have something to say?
Yes, about the sponsorship.
Thanks.
Joe Barry, First Assistant Corporation Counsel. Unfortunately, under current New York State law, advertising or other forms of commercial activity cannot be placed on city parkland.
Right.
It's not supposed to have any private interest involved. So while
But we
people
have
can make a
them.
gift to the city to be used, and we collect a lot of gifts through the Park Conservancy Fund, erecting big signs saying sponsored by would not be allowed.
Or supportive money from foundations that were given to support parks, right? Am I correct?
That would be problematic.
Yes.
It's supposed to be commercial-free for all the
No,
citizens.
no, not any advertisement, but far as getting support from or foundations that would like to give money towards the parks just for,
In terms of acknowledging their,
no acknowledgement, just giving to the park. So you won't.
oh, yes.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
how we use
Yes.
the Park Conservancy.
Yes.
As a good vehicle, because they're nonprofit, it's tax
Yes.
deductible to the people that want to make a donation.
There's a lot of Syracuse Mets have a foundation. You just reach out to them, 501c, they do
Oh.
that. There's a foundation, just go on their website.
That's how,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we voting 14?
Counselor, can I go back just to two, because when we was, when Court Counsel and I was talking about, 12 and 14, yeah, we noticed that the Schedule A was different than what was in the letter, because I ended up getting some communications a little late. And so we was concerned about that. Now, is your Schedule A exactly what you're planning on doing for this particular legislation here?
All right, so in the past, it's been permissible for us to list multiple projects that we may use these funds on. I see that that might not be the case now. In regards to the Trailside Recreation Stand, considering that we are still moving forward with the design concept, proper cost estimate hasn't been given yet. So it may be around 1.5, but we are currently trying to shrink that cost estimate.
No, that's not what I'm concerned. We're concerned about. We was just wondering, as far as Schedule A, do you have it? Like
I don't have a
Brian,
copy
can you
of it.
give- Like the Schedule A, the letter in Schedule A is like different, and she was kind of concerned a little bit about some of the things that's in Schedule A when they go in front of bond council. Is all those things as part of the legislation?
I understand. Bond counsel. Okay, so all these could be. So say that this project came in at 1.1, we would have 300,000 that we could use within this footprint of the Inner Harbor, and it may go to either one of these. But for the sake of bonding, I'd like to revisit this appendix.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I just wanted to bring it, because
Yeah.
when we was talking about the other appendix schedule, I thought about the conversation her and I had. So we can talk about it a little later then.
Okay.
Yeah.
The appendix for 12 is at least all in the same park, but the one for 14 is in 5 different parks.
Yeah, but we didn't discuss, I see what you're saying. We didn't discuss this.
I think we just want to make sure that people who happen to read this don't think something's going to happen that isn't happening. Right. Okay.
Understood.
So you guys will work it out?
Yeah, we're gonna work it out.
Okay. You okay, Councilor Caldwell?
Yeah,
Go
we'll
on.
work out, we'll talk. Yeah. Okay, Commissioner, item, I lost where we are. Item, I think we're on 15? 16.
16.
Yes.
Item number 16, item number 17, and item number 18 are an authorization request to submit for a grant. The grant is New York Swims. We're looking to submit a grant for 3 pools, McKinley Pool, Onondaga, and Thornton Park Pool. Currently, right now, each of these grant requests will be for $2 million with a 20% match. The local match will be provided by bond authorization.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Item nine.
it's a great program. We're hoping that
Commissioner Williams, item 19, I will briefly explain to you guys what that is. I will be recusing myself from voting, although I do not receive any funding for this. I just help oversee it. This right here is a summer youth program that will serve approximately almost 1,200 kids or more, and it has been an act for about 4 years now. City of Syracuse has helped supported this, and it's been a phenomenal program from ages 10 to 21 that will have opportunity to learn about financial literacy, education, they career-based, and several other things while they receive a stipend. So this is a continual program that was put in the budget, and I'm excited that it's back again.
I'd like to commend the majority leader on this. This has been a very successful program, and it certainly serves an underserved bunch of folks in the city, so
Absolutely.
I commend you on that.
So, Rashida, do you get the 1,200 students every year, or is that something you're aiming for this year?
Well, right now, as far as registration and what the organizations have put in, it's about around 1,200. Give and take, it can move, based on youth. There is also a SCSD program that is offering the same type of program that we are doing, a collaboration. So every year we get more and more organizations that want to be a part of it. It's just not enough money. So right now, we still don't have enough money, but we have other opportunities that might come in to help support it. So, yes.
Excellent.
And it's throughout the whole city. So when I say there's programs from the west side, the north side, the south side, and the east side, every side of the town is being represented throughout this program.
And then you subcontract with Syrup to run it and manage and all that?
Syrup runs it. I'm just help oversee it, that's all. Yeah, and I do not work for Syrup, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
20.
Item 20?
Item 20.
Thank you, councilors. Good afternoon. Michael Lehman, Deputy Commissioner of Asset Management and Valuation. With item 20, the city is requesting permission to enter into a license agreement with a restaurant owner downtown, the licensed portion of the Shot Clock Park. He's interested in adding a new restaurant there where the Starbucks used to be. I would like space for outdoor seating, not to exceed $3,000 for a one-year lease. I would like to modify the letter slightly just to break that down so he wouldn't be paying more than $250 per month for the months he uses it. So the not to exceed $3,000 is the same. Just want to tweak the language a little bit, and the details will be worked out with the law department when we draft the license agreements.
So this will consider new construction for what they have to, what's already pre-existing, to change it to how they want the outdoor seating to be, because there's already outdoor seating there now, but they want to add in tables and stuff like that. Is that what's going on?
There's benches now.
So, council, the
Sorry,
portion,
I'm a little mumbly.
the portion that the licensee would be using is immediately west of the building.
Okay.
There are now just planters there right now. So they would be in charge of putting a small fence and upgrading the hardscape so they can put chairs out there.
Okay.
And just so everybody knows, we've done this before. The McGregor's over there was next to a city park, and we allowed this. So you'll get additional insurance from them.
Yes.
Okay, to protect the city. I think this is a great use. Shot Clock.
The amount to exceed does not change, yes. And this is deposited into the city's account, so, yeah. Okay.
Good. Anything to help the businesses in the city? Are you finished, Council Culver?
Yes.
Okay,
So I just want to first thank the park department. You all set?
You're all
Thank
set,
you.
Commissioner.
Want to thank the park department over the weekend with World Refugee Day and, just Pride festivals and the commitment you guys have shown. I saw you out there. You were sweating like everybody else.
Yeah.
It was hot, Council.
It was hot. It was
Polish Festival, let's not forget the
That-
Polish
that's right,
Festival,
that's right.
Councilman Jacques.
And
All
just
the
thank
wonderful
you, thank you.
festivals.
And the park, we had a little glitch with equipment rental from outside, and the park was just flexible to make sure that the attendees had the space to use the facilities while we were waiting for the stuff to come. So thank you for your leadership out there.
Also, I appreciate that. Positive feedback is always appreciated.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, and we know you're down-staffed. So he's down-staffed too, so, but,
Well, we have a great staff at Parks Department, so we get
Yes.
it done.
We all had a
absolutely.
great time at the World Refugee Day, too. Everybody had a great time.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
Counselor Nave, to your point, I would like to circle back and elaborate on Corp Counsel's point about the Parks Conservancy. Parks Conservancy is indeed our nonprofit arm that, does actively work on projects with us and fundraise for the Parks Department. They've been instrumental in, a Schiller Park restoration project. And also, they've also did a fundraiser for our greenhouse, and we're just getting started. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Commissioner, thank you, Counselor.
Yes.
Counselor Majok.
Thank you, Council Hogan. I have item 21 through 32. Item 21, we had a committee meeting on it a week ago, and I think that's all set. Anybody got questions? All right, I'm going to move to item 22. Item 22, we will have further discussion on Friday. So I would ask if anyone has questions, just hold them until Friday. Or unless if you want to say something, say it, but just for everybody, in terms of time and efficiency, we want to hold a committee meeting and have further discussion, especially exploring some other opportunities that are around financially to maybe see what we can do with it. But that discussion will commence Friday and at noon. Unless if somebody...
Why don't you give us a thumbnail, explanation of this, Commissioner OJ?
Good afternoon,
I know
everybody.
we've had talks before, and I know you're eager to tell us about this.
Matt OJ, Commissioner of Assessment, and I'm eager. Yeah, the one-liner is that we'd like to modify last fall's ordinance to reflect a not-to-exceed number of an additional $3.5 million in hard costs that reflect the exclusions from the lease that are necessary to essentially turn this deliverable leasable building into a leasable occupiable building for these two city tenants, fire and police. Those reflect a number of necessities that have been identified in the design stage, things like a second elevator, redundant power supply, certainly 7 figures worth of security and IT upgrades, things that without which this can't be a public safety headquarters, things that couldn't have been quantified prior to the design stage, and that we think just for the sake of financial prudence, we'd like to amortize over the cost of the over the 19-year term of the lease, rather than bond for and pay for upfront.
Okay. So this is in the evolution of this project, this very unique project, combining two departments into one giant building over there on Fayette Street. Things came up, and you adjusted to them, and it's changed the way the balance of financing goes, correct? Basically?
Yeah, broadly speaking, that's right.
Okay, and I appreciate Councilor Majok setting up a meeting on this, to discuss this further at noon on Friday. But
Yeah, we
more
do look forward to
details.
talking more because it's a large number. Really necessities, not luxuries, but I think it's worth getting into the granular details of at a forum other than this one, so people don't start to back up behind me.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you, councilors. Councilor.
Item 23.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Rich Shaw, First Deputy Chief of
Hello,
Police.
Chief.
Item 23 is an agreement with Lacey Leonard for a position of Traffic Safety Coordinator on behalf of the Police Department to provide traffic safety education and outreach through coordinating efforts, events, and with agencies and stakeholders countywide with the ultimate goal of making city streets safer. This will be effective July 1st of this year if we can. It's going to be paid for originally by the Police Department from July 1st to September 30th out of money we identified in our budget. And then after that, it'll be picked up and going forward, it'll be paid for by the Highway Safety Grant, which won't cost us any more money out of our project after that going forward. This, just to let you know, this program here, traffic safety, is something that's been in existence for years and years and years. It was always run by the Onondaga County Sheriff's Department. They have not done anything in this within a year and a half. We see the value in having a traffic safety plan, events, and messaging going out. So we agreed to take it over and run it for the Traffic Safety Council.
So will this transfer it out of, I guess, if you want an event, if there's something going on, you have to go through the permitting. Will these all be transferred under you as well, or?
So there won't be any additional costs other than, so if we just started it up in October, there would be no cost to the police department whatsoever. We want to get it going a little bit early so that we can get, it's been sitting dormant too long. So it is going to, we're willing to pay a little bit more in the beginning, but once that new contract kicks in, the grant kicks in, then we will not put any money forward. So she is a part-time, it will be a part-time position. And we agreed on a certain amount that's not going to get anywhere near $120,000.
So this is county and city together?
The Traffic Safety Council, it's all the agencies, right? She's coordinating with all the different agencies in the whole entire county, all the police agencies. Yeah, it's just to get us up and running, because it's been sitting dormant way too long.
Well, she's got extensive experience with the media. I think with a walkable, accessible city as we're trying to achieve, you know, it seems like, you know, you guys hear from me all the time, speeding's epidemic in the city.
Yep.
You know, running stop signs and everything else. So anything she can do to help us, and I think her name's Leonardi, isn't it? There's an I on the end of it.
Exactly.
You know, so we could correct that, but I think this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That gets one.
Let's try 24.
Item 24 is agreement with Professor John B. and I'm Polish, I should be able to say this, but Kwasnowski, DBA Legal Sciences. What he's going to do is he can provide training to our traffic officers. He has specific training that he does as regards to courtroom testimony on fatal vehicle accidents. He's the only person in the country that does that. Also, I spoke briefly to the clerk a little bit about this in the beginning. He's going to get $3,500 for the totality of the training. Originally, it was going to be the Stop DWI funds would pay for $2,500, and the police department would pay for $1,000. That's since been amended. That's what I was talking to you about a little while ago, clerk. That the Stop DWI funds are going to pay for the entire training, and I can get the amended letter if it's needed.
Exceed 3,500. Okay. All right. 26, 25.
25. 25, this is a grant we've been doing 10 or 11 years. Before that, we had the same grant under a different name. It's to and with the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services, DCJS, for the 2024 period. Money will be used for gun-involved violence elimination in an amount not to exceed $1,330,176 on behalf of the police department, to be used for salary and fringe for an anti-violence coordinator, a non-fatal shooting specialist, hot spot policing, power walks, SEPTED, youth trust building, and the Police and Me interactive services. New York DCJS events and training in addition. So they have an annual training that does cover that as well. And there's no local match required for this.
What is Hotspot?
Hotspot is, we have the Central New York Crime Analysis Center tracks where our gun violence is, and through the technology creates heat maps, and the hotspots are where is the highest concentration of gun violence.
Questions? 26.
I think you're up, Chief. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Good afternoon, Council. Rick Kesselstein, Executive Deputy Chief of Fire. We have 3 items for grants for 26, 27, and 28. These are in regards to our hazmat company. The first one is for, due to us being the regional hazmat company, we are given grant money that the county gets from the state and the feds for training, and this is to pay for backfill for when our personnel are being trained for hazmat. And that would be for fiscal year 21's grant Item number 27 is for fiscal year 22's grant, the same exact thing. It's additional training for our hazmat personnel. When we get new people in that go to the hazmat company, they need to be trained up to a higher level than we do in our academy so that they're hazmat techs, and this is what covers that.
I want to say, allude to this, which has to do with the quickness if you need that. I want to thank you and all the firefighters for being the first response for that awful situation that happened on the north side with the families. I'm praying for them, but also for you guys because that was a lot.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that we see and, you know, we thinking about you guys and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. Item 28 is also a grant from the county. This is for emergency preparedness. This was to send some of our higher level personnel in hazmat to a conference to get the latest, greatest equipment and operations from a national conference. Okay, items 29 and 30 are in regards to the capital plan for the fire department station rehab. This is an annual allotment to keep our fire stations up to date. This is for windows and air conditioners and electrical repairs and you know, all the things to keep all the firehouses running. Okay, and our last one is items 31 and 32 for a bond ordinance and authorization for our communications upgrade program. We've been trying to come up with a way to have our alerting system upgraded. This is a at least 50-year-old system. There's probably more electrical tape than copper wire in it at this point. It's very difficult to find parts and very difficult to find personnel that can even service this equipment now. So this is going to be an upgrade, and fingers crossed, if it lasts 50 years, that'd be great. So this is going to be a newer version. This is what 911 alerts our firehouses and lets them know who's supposed to be responding to which emergencies. That's what this is for.
How old is the current one?
It's probably older than 50 years. It's old. It's very dated.
I put it in.
And it's probably, the upgrade is going to be this year. Is there a timeline on it as to when it's actually taking?
We've located, you know, the company that can do it inside the parameters that we have to work with the county because that's the 911 center is the county. So it's not going to be a flash. There's, you know, all the firehouses need to be upgraded. So it could take long. I really couldn't give you a timeline right now, but I could certainly do that before the next meeting.
Yeah, certainly something that is needed. You guys do a lot, and you know, with housing stock and older, and everything is just fire becoming more.
This is critical. If they don't notify us, we don't know where to go, or you know. So this is a critical piece in the chain.
All right. Any other questions?
Thanks, Chief.
The next item is me and Council Gathers. Council Hogan.
It's my job. I'm
That's
supposed
your
to
job?
call. Yes.
You're supposed to call it.
Yes. Council Gathers, Council Major. Jeez. See, this is what happens. You're away for a little while.
Yeah,
All of a
right,
sudden,
right.
yeah.
Right, we forget.
Yeah.
Chief, I guess there is, who's?
Good afternoon, Councilors. Mary Robinson, City Engineer. Item 33 is a revocable permission to Flock Group, a citywide revocable permission. This is associated with the police department's agreement that they entered into for the license plate reading cameras. So this revocable permission allows them to install these cameras and poles or attach to existing poles within our city right-of-way. It's our standard revocable permission for other people that install things in our right-of-way, except there is no fee like there normally is with the underground conduit.
Chief, if you just want for clarification, if you could just come up and just talk about the legalities behind the use of the LPRs.
Yep, so we came to council before to get the contract approved. We had our, chief and I had our homicide squad pick out the 26 locations that the grant allowed us to pay for in this here. So I have a list of those locations that I can provide the council with if you'd like me to forward that to you.
Absolutely.
At a later time, when I get back to my office.
And they're only being used for investigative purposes.
They
only.
are being used for investigative purposes. There's really no proactive purpose for it, right? So if you know you have a stolen vehicle, you can put the stolen vehicle license plate number into the system. If it goes by a camera, it will send an alert. If you have a homicide and you are looking for a specific vehicle, you can put that license plate into the system, and it will send you an alert. If you had a homicide and you know there's a camera in the direction they had to travel, you can go back and check cameras for up to 30 days.
You're going to put these in your schools? Because, we've had a lot of issues with high speeds over by Lemoyne, Webster.
No, Councilor, I will send you the list of exactly where we're putting them, but they're more designed towards high traffic areas, interstate, off-ramps, and on-ramps.
Okay.
When I send you the list, you're going to see 3 different permit types, right? One is DOT. Those ones are going on state off-ramps. That's not what we're talking about today.
Okay.
The other ones say city. Those are the ones that are going to be on the city right away. And the last one is in the county. However, it's over at Western Lights. We wanted it looking at Velasco and Onondaga. However, Town of Gaddis or the county or somebody starting a 2-year road project over there, so we're looking to move that camera maybe over onto the city right away, but we're not there yet. As far as the school zones, the city has another project, Counselor, where they are putting in, or we're going to put in speed cameras and stoplight cameras and stuff on the school bus arms. But that's a separate project. And then lastly, we've also gotten a new grant, which we haven't gotten that far with it yet, recently approved from the governor's office, that will allow us to try to get more LPRs, and we haven't decided where to put them. We haven't started that process yet.
Yeah, because Clark consistently calling me about the high speed of traffic, some these for speed humps.
Yeah, these won't be any good for traffic enforcement.
Yeah.
They're only good for if we're looking for a suspect vehicle. That's all they can be used
Well, it could
for.
also help down the road. So, thank you.
So the ones that, I believe there was one installed near like Colvin and Salina.
Yes.
That
Yep.
is only for suspect vehicles? I thought it was for like non-registration or insurance or things like that.
No,
Or
we
just
only use
suspect?
those. So those are from before my time. So they've been there for a little bit of a while, but they're the same thing, right? That we use them looking for suspect vehicles. There's no traffic enforcement involved with any of this.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Councilor?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilor Gathers?
Thank you. I have items 34.
Actually, I have another question. Chief,
Chief,
I have
you got
another
it.
question. So far, do you know like how that's been working? Have we
I
caught
would have to
any?
talk to the investigators. The homicide guys are the ones that use it. But there's flock cameras around the rest of the county, and we have had crime solved because of them.
Specifically your question. Hi, Joe Cecil. Welcome back, Councilor Hogan.
Chief, nice mustache, Chief. I like that.
Well, thanks.
The mustache.
Not going to last much longer. My wife doesn't like it. But just specifically to your question, so the only one up right now is Salina and Colvin. We have actually a piece of information that came from there has solved 2 or possibly 3 of our homicides.
Okay.
And again, it's just a piece of our information. Looking at cops' cameras, then we look at LPRs, and then we start figuring out who's in the area when it happened. But it has been integral, just that one. So having these other ones up will certainly help us with other investigations.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I would assume so. I remember like maybe two or 3 years ago when there was an incident on the James Street area and the vehicle traveled south to like Nedrow or the Valley area and had several incidents along the way, but each person who called it in, the description of the vehicle was like burgundy or red or plum, and so no one knew what vehicle they was looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep, good point. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
All right. Now I have items 34 through 43.
Hello, Ann Fordock, First Deputy Commissioner, Syracuse DPW. 34 is to extend the agreement with Barton and LaJudas. Right now, they are currently working on a participation study, and they have interns all over the city looking to see what our recycling who is recycling and who's not, so we can come up with a participation rate. So it's really good data that we're trying to get out of that. They're also working on our route optimization study. And so this is just an extension so that when we go into that new fiscal year, we can continue to pay them.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
35 is the sweeping program, and we're going to have a public hearing on Monday, July 1st on that.
Perfect. Any
Thank
questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chief.
Counselor.
Let's go ahead.
Afternoon, Council. Corey Dunham, Chief Operating Officer. 36 and 37 are to bond and authorize $1.5 million that was included in the capital plan for repairs to the parking garages. So these repairs will be driven by the reports that CNS generates for us.
Okay, and then going into that, and also 38.
Yes, 38 and 39 is similar bond and authorizing $500,000, part of our parking garage safety program. So this is to increase coverage, camera coverage in our garages for security purposes. So to make sure that we're covering stairwells and, you know, that there's full coverage in each one of the garages. So that project is ready to go.
How soon can the cameras be installed and all that stuff?
I can find out. I mean, we're pretty much ready to go, but I can absolutely get you a timeline on that.
Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, counselors.
Thank you. Yep.
Yes, to the amount. If you need Jenna to resend it, just let us know and we can have her redo it. Okay, thank you.
Corey, before you leave, non-related, did you figure out Midland Ave? The garden?
Yes, by the end of the day today, Counselor, I will get back to you on Midland. Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead. Number 40.
40, we're requesting to amend an agreement with CNS Engineers for the Arsenal Park hydraulic study and benefit cost analysis. We're asking to increase the fee by $50,000 for a total cost not to exceed $189,000, and it's for them to develop an additional design alternative and full 2D modeling. And this is related to a grant, so no additional cost for the city.
Any questions? All right.
41 through 43 is a TIP project, the North, South, East, West Corridors Interconnect Project, Phase 2, which is completing the original project, which is the section of James Street from Grant Boulevard eastbound on James. And we're amending the bond ordinance, the agreement with DOT, and the project authorization to add the construction and construction inspection phase for an additional $2.95 million for a total project cost not to exceed $3.25 million. And receive 80% federal funding, 15% marginality, and 5% local.
Is it James all the way from Grant all the way to Thompson?
To the last traffic signal, so I believe that might be Thompson.
Okay.
That's pretty close to the city line, so.
Yeah. All right.
If there's a traffic signal at Thompson, which I
Yeah.
would imagine there is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
You finished their council gathers? Okay, I have 44. We had a meeting earlier today, very informative meeting, and that is ready. Councilor Williams for, Councilor Manto for Councilor Williams.
Thank you, Councilor Hogan. Item 45, anybody here for that? This is the money that goes to the Onondaga Historical Association each year, helping us, their curator of our historical documents and landmark preservation. 46.
Good afternoon, councilors. Anne Marie Deegan, First Deputy Commissioner of Finance. The 46 is to extend the contract with Deer Island Bay. They are the consultants we're using for SWC, our Chrono system, and our Telestaff system. So for continuity, we're just extending time, so we're covered.
Questions?
So just because I'm so curious, can you just give me a little bit more information on that?
So this company is our consultants that we've been using for a while now. So they are actively making sure that Chronos, our timekeeping system, will talk to Oracle, our new payroll system, and same as with Telestaff as well.
Rita, will this be a part of committee meeting? Will this be a part of the committee meeting for Monday?
No, I don't think, was it?
We just
Oh, did you?
Okay.
We'll touch on it, basically.
yeah, we could bring it in.
Just let me know when it is. Happy to meet there.
Okay.
47 and 48.
Good afternoon, councilors. Michael Canizero, Commissioner of Finance. It's a very procedural ordinance. We have to establish a standard workday. The mayor, city auditor, all union, non-union positions, and the common councilors. So I've been working with the clerk to get this on the agenda. Any questions? Standard workday 7.25 hours, just FYI.
Thank you. 49.
Thank you.
Good afternoon again, everybody. Requesting a one-year lease for a water department employee to use our three-bedroom house located on the Westcott Reservoir property, 404 Salisbury Road, also 2501 West Genesee Street. This is going to be a one-year lease, requesting a rate of... All good.
Stephanie, was that you? Jeez.
$1,100 a month plus utilities. Standard residential lease. Looks like there's a small typo in the short title. It's going to run through July 31st of 25, not the 21st.
Questions? Thanks, Matt.
Thanks all.
And 50 is for our stenography services for public hearings and meetings. Any questions on that one?
No.
I'm all set, Councilor Hogan.
Thank you, Councilor Monto. Councilor Jones-Rauser.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. I have items 51 through 61 and 51.
Hello, councilors. Ruth Neon-Ground, Director of Communications and Marketing for the city. Item 51 is a request to go into agreement with Ashley Kang. She's a local freelance writer and editor, storyteller. The goal is to develop urban stories around our neighborhoods, our people who are always working on the ground, city programs that don't always make it into the news. We discussed this a little bit during the comms budget hearing about trying to balance all of the press releases and fast stuff with just things that people can relate to and slow it down and make sure that we folks can understand all the different wonderful things about the city. Ashley has a history working with the Stand, WAER. She knows our residents, they trust her, and this agreement works really well with the flexible work schedule that she's looking for right now. So this contract would be good for 1 year with the option to renew.
Any questions?
I think this is great, Ruthie. I think we you know, nothing against the press, but we pull up that daily website and we see a lot of bad news. So it would be nice to see some good news, you know, about these neighborhoods because there's a lot of good news out there.
Yeah, and
100% agree.
And
Ashley's here with us
already
today.
has that like you said, the connections with the community, and absolutely, you know, has been eager to bring out the positives in our communities. So this is really good.
How would this work? She would just go to the neighborhood meeting, talk to neighbors, or people calling her? How would the initial engagement happen?
So actually, with Ashley's recommendation and advice, what we're doing is we're building a city storytelling team. So we're going to utilize the interns that we have. We're going to utilize partnerships with like student journalists and local colleges at OCC, Lemoyne, and SU. And we're going to build a team around her. She's going to run them similar to how she's done with the stand in the past and get them out in the neighborhoods, get them out in neighborhood watch meetings, get them at different parts of the city, have them at different festivals, things that are really on the ground. She'll be working with us to make sure that, it's still very high quality. The content will always be beautiful, but it will have a lot more citizen voices. I sent a letter to you all just showing you some examples of other cities that have done this, that have built offices and teams around storytelling. And I'm really excited because that means that we're now doing work at that level with other cities, just thinking about focusing on people. So.
I mean, I regularly argue that this is probably the most community-facing, diverse common council in the history of the city, and we're very aware that there are thousands of people doing a lot of good in our neighborhoods, so let's tap into them. I love this.
Yeah, I'm excited about the stories you're going to send us, because sometimes you guys hear about things before we do.
I noticed that you mentioned renewal. I saw it in there, but I didn't know exactly what it meant. Are you asking for a option to renew with approval of mayor and common council for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make sure we put that in there so law can put that in your in the contract. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I might reach out and have you to verbalize it in one of the bullets down here with the agreements. Okay.
Okay, will
All
do.
right. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. 52.
Good afternoon, Tanya Eastman, Director of Neighborhood Grants and NBD. So the request is for the appropriation of funds for 25 for the University Neighborhood Service Agreement after the recommendations prepared by the Advisory Council a few weeks ago.
I guess for me, is that, I see Blueprint here and Dunbar, and it's exciting to see them tapping into these resources. That, whatever was done to, encourage, especially Dunbar, to apply to this funding is phenomenal. So whoever did that, I don't know who did, but
No,
great
Dunbar
job.
has actually applied when two EDs ago. So they've been applying
They didn't get it.
for probably. No, they did get they got
Many
it.
years.
Yeah,
I thought it
so
was-
it's been about 4 years.
Okay, so Blueprint is the
Blueprint is
the
new.
first one, new one. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, at any rate, it's great to see them that they are getting Dunbar continue to get that funding, and Blueprint getting part of this as well. So it's great,
It could be better. I would just say that.
right? It always could be better, Counselor,
Yeah.
right?
So.
Any other questions?
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I have a resolution to appoint Elise Baker to the Citizen Review Board to fill the vacant seat for Ruth Coates as the 4th District representative for the term ending in December 2026. Oh, I was about to say.
Yeah, we
okay.
already voted on this.
Yeah, 54 is just here because some information, the legislation wasn't a part of the packet. We already did agree on extending it, so that'll move forward at this point in time. 55, permission, 55, okay. Yes.
Good afternoon, councilors. Eric Ennis, Neighborhood and Business Development. So as the council may recall, this was held from the last session. One of the things we did do was provide all the departmental comments regarding the encroachment, and if there's, happy to answer any other questions, but we did provide that information, which is included in your packet.
This is for a restaurant, right?
Correct. So what
Yeah,
this is
it's a diner,
the
right?
outdoor seating area that's going to be constructed as part of the Days building at 401 South Salina Street. And so the encroachment has completed interdepartmental comments at the city level, and then typical encroachments of this nature do require common council approval.
This is a bit, I believe it's moving from outside the city into the city.
Correct. Yep.
to try to take
Bakery that's going
advantage
to
of
move from Casanova. So we're very excited about these storefronts being activated on, and the encroachment itself will front South Salina, but add some additional outdoor seating in downtown Syracuse.
Excellent.
The only thing I just want to bring up briefly in the short title is the address for the property is 401 South Salina Street. So just wanted to make note of that for this item. Okay. All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to back up to 54, we are going to be having a committee meeting. We're just trying to get the all parties together. It's quite a possibly 3 to 4 parties that'll be involved. Okay. All right. 56. Oh, 56 through 61.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Kimon Jordan, Neighborhood and Business Development. So items 56 through 61 are properties that we would like council to approve transfer to the Greater Syracuse Land Bank once the foreclosure process is complete. These properties were held from the previous session, but we'd like to recommend that we actually move them forward. We've checked our records, we've reached out to the finance department, and these property owners have not made contact with the city yet.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes on Monday, but I have reached back out to the 57 and 58. Councilor Caldwell has been in touch with 61 and 56. And I'll reach out to 59 and 60. So let's see how Monday goes. I'm pretty sure that 58, I'm going to be trying to work with them a little bit more egregiously, so that might be withdrawn, but we'll see how that goes. All right.
So I appreciate all the work that Councilor Jones-Rouser and certainly Councilor Caldwell go. But, you know, I think, Kimon, if we could get sort of maybe some bullet points on how many times the city and the land bank contacts people before they end up on our agenda.
Sure,
You know,
absolutely.
as far as like, you know, naturally, some people maybe forget about quarterly tax payment, but somebody's been arrears for a long time. I know there's an effort to like contact them all the time, so I'd be of interest to that. I think it's like 3 or 4 times anyway, so.
Yeah. So that information is included in the information that's sent to all of us. There's notes at the back of the email batch, the batches that they send. However, some of those letters were sent out
2019.
back in like 19, and they're just like picking up from there. So the additional outreach from us, we feel is very important because, you know, years have gone by with the pandemic and some people have passed away. Their families are now in control of these properties and they don't know what was happening at that point in time. So we
they
just
don't
want to
know
make
that
sure.
they have to pay taxes.
Huh?
The families don't know that they have to pay taxes on the property they might have inherited.
Some of them may not.
Okay.
They may not understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just add that we do have a planner, Kaylin Hubbard, who does additional outreach. She sends out additional letters outside of what the finance department sends. She makes phone calls, and she also does door-to-door engagement several times to make sure that she makes contact. But we do appreciate the additional outreach from counselors because seeing a new face or a more familiar face also helps.
So that's happened before it hit the books?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, so our team does outreach before it comes on your agenda.
Yeah,
And currently, we've passed, probably 60 or more properties at this point in time. So there's plenty of properties that can be moved forward versus the small amount that we've held currently.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I just, you know, I think we all realize, and like I said, I appreciate all your efforts on this. We all realize some of these properties are abandoned, or, you know, and they're like they might be blighting the neighborhoods pretty bad.
Oh, no, we're
These
not
aren't
working with the
abandoned.
properties that are
All
abandoned.
these people are
All
abandoned.
these people are, all these
occupied.
people?
Yes,
These are
they're
Yeah, we've
occupied.
transitioned into occupied properties.
Yeah, these aren't abandoned houses.
Well, I'm sorry, I thought you said that sometimes the owner died and the family doesn't, I assume
Oh,
the family
is-
wasn't
but the
living there.
family-
Yeah, they still don't
yeah,
understand the
they're living there. These are
process.
occupied properties.
Okay.
Like 61, for instance, the family, I know, I'm not sure what, so want to make sure it's clear, because I know the white family have lived there for like 56 years. So I want to make sure that the family understands what the process was to make sure before it is given away, because they lost it not.
Given an opportunity to get
Yeah.
a tax trust.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
And another issue that is more prevalent is the fact that individuals died intestate without a will, and so the properties are being held up kind of in probate per se, and so the families don't know where to go. So working with them to get them into some type of legal, some legal help allows to move it forward, to get it into someone's name,
Okay, good.
which I'm pretty sure you know.
So which ones, are you holding some of these, Counselor?
All of them right now. Monday we'll know further if any of them will move forward.
Okay. Hearing, anything else have to come before the council? Hearing nothing, I will ask for motion to adjourn. Second? Okay.
Oh, yeah, we owe that to the community. They got enough houses. Yeah, holding over there. People are living in garbage, and then community people are like